Remember the mega weapon? The super powerful weapon Garmadon created using the 4 golden weapons that got launched into space because the writers thought the show was going to end in season 2, so they'd never have to address it again, that Garmadon didn't use very well overall when you look back on it. Remember that? Every time I rewatch Ninjago, the mega weapon episodes stand out to me as some of the goofiest of the entire series. The way Garmadon uses the mega weapon in the show is so strange considering the evil things he could have done with it. Today, I'm going to rank every scheme Garmadon pulled with the mega weapon. Or should I say, every one of his
diabolical plots!
I think Ninja Ball Run is definitely the weakest of Garmadon's schemes. It's really less of a scheme and more of a play. When you really think about it, the whole scheme kicks off in the strangest way possible. Garmadon purchases a whole block of real estate in order to close down Dareth's dojo, even creating a fake developer called Darnagom Enterprises to buy it. Before he even considered using the mega weapon, Garmadon really just sat down and thought, what if I just made up a company and bought the buildings where the dojo my son is training at is so I could just destroy it? Did dude even consider that Lloyd could have been trained somewhere else? Why did he think the dojo was the sole thing allowing Lloyd to train to become the Green Ninja? This scheme isn't even kick-started by the use of the mega weapon, but since the mega weapon does come into play later, and the episode is grouped with the other mega weapon episodes, I'm still gonna keep it in this ranking. Anyway, the ninja assume that this developer is just Garmadon, but they still need to raise the money to save the dojo, and that's when Nia tells them about a race called the Ninja Ball Run. So this race is named after the ninja? Or some other ninja? It's not really clear, but whatever. And they end up being the only ninja in the race too, so it's not like it's a race of ninja, it's a race of these ninja. A couple other people. The ninja and Lloyd both enter the race so they can win the money to stop Garmadon's plan of destroying the dojo. I don't get why Nia doesn't enter as well, she just watches them, but you know, this is season 2, and she still is not treated as well as the other male characters despite being a member of the main cast. But the ninja do use a vehicle she built. A bunch of past characters return for the Ninja Ball Run, such as the Skeletons, Darkly students, Jay's parents, etc. It's really an episode where they bring everyone together like, hey, remember these guys? Right before the race starts, Garmadon joins, realizing that if the ninja win, they could ruin his evil real estate plan. So the race starts, and it's just a normal race for a while with no mega weapon interference, since Garmadon can only use it like once a day as it drains all of his energy. At one point in the race, the ninja are stuck in the canyons, and Garmadon aims the bounty's cannons at them. Lloyd and the Ultra Dragon throw off his aim, however, and the ninja are able to keep going. Garmadon orders a Serpentine to fight the ninja to slow them down, which I feel like is a last resort option. I feel like that's what he should have told them to do after he tried the mega weapon, and if that didn't work the way he wanted to, like, dude is really not using this weapon to his advantage. Finally, when they're approaching the end of the race, Garmadon declares that it is time to use the mega weapon. I noticed that he always says I wish when he's using the mega weapon, so is that like a requirement for using it, like a genie's lamp? Anyway, Garmadon wishes for an insurmountable obstacle to stop the ninja from winning. Subsequently, a huge chasm opens in the ground in front of the ninja. Also, what are the rules of the race? Why can aircrafts and cars enter? Like, Garmadon has a significant advantage being in the air, but then the ninja have all these obstacles on the ground. What? It's called Ninja Ball Run, not Ninja Ball Fly. I'm so funny. So Garmadon didn't wish for anything specific, which I think makes this scheme kinda weak. And also, the ninja end up crossing the chasm anyway, so that didn't really work for him, huh? I guess Garmadon didn't know their vehicle could morph into a plane, but whatever. If the mega weapon really was so powerful, wouldn't it have been able to anticipate and create an obstacle that would actually stop the ninja no matter what their vehicle could do? All of these factors just lead to this scheme being the absolute worst. The ninja end up winning the Ninja Ball Run, because they're the ninja, and taking back the bounty from Garmadon, so they just really solo him in one episode. I don't get why Garmadon wouldn't just destroy the buildings anyway, like he's evil. But I guess when it comes to building codes, he is a professional. The second worst mega weapon scheme of Garmadon's, in my opinion, is his very first scheme that occurs in the episode Pirates vs. Ninja. First of all, Garmadon discovers Captain Soto's journal in the bounty completely by accident, and ends up creating the pirates completely by accident as well. So you could argue it's not really a scheme because Garmadon didn't do it intentionally. He was just complaining about the Serpentine doubting him and being a bad crew, so he wishes that he had a more competent crew, and then the mega weapon just starts doing its thing. Not really sure how that works. The pirates don't even end up spawning where Garmadon is on the ship, they show up on the deck. Why? Why wouldn't they show up in front of Garmadon? This scene is just so strange. Garmadon wasn't even sure how the mega weapon worked, so he was just crashing out, and all of a sudden it worked? Okay. Later, Garmadon realizes that the mega weapon only has the power to create, not destroy, so from now on, he knows that he has to build his schemes around that ability. Anyway, after the pirates are spawned into existence, Garmadon tries to take control of them to use them to fight the ninja, but they immediately overtake him and his Serpentine crew, locking them in the brig. Seeing as Garmadon and the Serpentine have no control over them, this makes this scheme rank very low on the list. Garmadon can't even fight back against the pirates because the mega weapon has drained him of energy, revealing that he can only use it like once in a day. We also see that anyone else who tries to take the weapon will disintegrate because only Garmadon has the ability to wield it. After locking them away, the pirates discover that the Destiny's bounty can fly now, and they fly it to Ninjago City to do pirate things, which is obviously not something Garmadon ordered them to do, so we can't really credit that to him. That was just more of a lucky coincidence that those guys would also want to terrorize the city. The ninja only end up coming across the pirates because they're causing trouble in Ninjago City. They don't fight them because of Garmadon, they fight them because they're committing crimes. Anyway, the ninja end up fighting the pirates, and it's a pretty good fight. I do find the scene to be full of awkward pauses and strange aura farming moments, however, but otherwise it's a pretty good scene. Also the line,
"Ninja versus pirates, who will win?"
It's just so cheesy. One of the best things about this scheme is that it allows us to see the moment where Lloyd first does Spinjitzu. The ninja don't want to bring Lloyd along with them to fight the pirates as he is still too young, but Lloyd ends up finding his way onto the ship, thus causing Kai to put him in a barrel, cause that's how you discipline a child apparently. While Lloyd is trying to get out of the barrel, he ends up doing Spinjitzu for the first time. Seeing him so excited to finally do Spinjitzu is such a cute moment, and the fact that this scheme led to a moment where Lloyd unlocks the title power master Spinjitzu, he unlocks this power that's in the title, is pretty important. While all this is happening, Garmadon is using the mega weapon to try and get the key to unlock the brig, so not a good look for our villain. Anyway, the episode ends with Samurai X defeating the pirates, and Garmadon being able to escape from the brig and ultimately escape on the Destiny's bounty. So he's still going strong, but he also kinda just went off of luck this whole episode, so not the greatest scheme he could have cooked up with his new weapon. So our middle of the road spot goes to the very last mega weapon scheme, the scheme Garmadon concocts in the episode Wrong Place, Wrong Time. This episode, being a time travel shenanigans episode, is of course a very controversial one, and I think it falling right in the middle of this ranking makes sense. The episode starts with the ninja training Lloyd to adapt to his new body after he was aged up in the last episode, and it seems like Lloyd is intentionally acting more mature now, like the Tomorrow's Tea incident forced him to address his responsibilities and take them on headfirst. Their training is interrupted when Zane's Falcon spots Garmadon at Ouroboros, so the ninja get ready to fight him, lowkey expecting this to be the final battle, which it obviously does not end up being the final battle. At Ouroboros, Garmadon and the Serpentine are preparing to fight the ninja when the ninja suddenly show up. Garmadon is shocked to see that Lloyd is now older. Lloyd blasts the mega weapon with his power and Garmadon is taken aback. I love how Garmadon's anger at his son growing up and getting closer to actually fighting him pushes him to enact his scheme in this episode. He retreats shocked and furious, and in his anger, he says that he wished the ninja never existed. This gives him an idea, and he wishes to go back in time in order to stop the ninja from ever becoming, ninja. Now, a question I have about this scene is that if the mega weapon's ability is to create something, with this wish, what is Garmadon creating? The whole concept of time travel? Strange. Anyway, the mega weapon causes a time travel portal to appear and Garmadon enters it. The ninja finally catch up to him and they start to see that the city of Ouroboros is returning to its ancient state and that Lloyd is starting to fade away. Master Wu tells the ninja to follow after Garmadon as they must stop him from changing the past. The ninja go through the time travel portal as well and they end up going back to the pilots. Fun fact, the first time I watched this episode I had never seen the pilot, so I was low-key really confused, but I just shrugged and rolled with it. I get why they chose to go back to the pilots because that's where the story of Ninjago began, but Jay, Cole, and Zane had already been training together for a while before Kai joined them. So shouldn't Garmadon have gone farther back in order to stop them from becoming ninja? I don't know, it's so confusing if you think about it for too long. Anyway, although confusing, I do like the idea of them traveling back in time to the pilots. It's an interesting idea and leads to some really fun moments. The important quote in this episode is "change anything, change everything," which Sensei says to the ninja before they go through the time travel portal. But it honestly ends up meaning nothing because they end up changing so much, and the only thing that ends up changing in the present is that the mega weapon never existed. Which also makes zero sense, but I digress. I feel like time travel is one of the trickiest story concepts to get right, and unfortunately, I don't feel like they get it right here. It's just a really messy story that ends up causing a multitude of plot holes that will break your brain if you think about them for too long. One thing that I really love about this episode is how Past Wu just goes along with the ninja. He's obviously so freaking confused, but he just helps them, which is pretty chill. So Garmadon's plan is to interfere with the skeletons kidnapping Nia, as that was the whole reason Kai became a ninja and the original ninja team was formed. Honestly, pretty smart of him. He had a good idea in mind, just too bad time travel is so messy. Garmadon pretending to be a skeleton and wondering why he ever worked with them is so funny. Garmadon's plan is actually succeeding, as in the present, Void is disappearing from the group picture of the ninja. The ninja realize that since Garmadon stopped the skeletons from capturing Nia, they need to deliver her to Garmadon in order to set things right. I love how the ninja are just judging past Kai. Okay, let's talk about some inconsistencies in this episode that bothered me real quick. First of all, Nia says,
"Father always said the world works in mysterious ways."
How does she know what their father used to say? They were like 2 when they were kidnapped. She must have a really good memory. Second, one of the skeletons says that he thinks he saw 2 of the same ninja, but Kai wasn't even a ninja at this point. So, what? How? Why does he? What? Third, the ninja are talking about how Sensei said, "change anything, change everything," and then Cole says that was before Garmadon changed things. But they changed things first when they talked to Sensei before Garmadon and the skeleton showed up. Even though Garmadon changed things, he wasn't the first one to do it, it was them. Also, when the ninja pose the skeletons and go to capture Nia, these dumbos take their masks off. Like, dudes, wait until you're away from the monastery, are you dumb? It's like they're not even trying. While Jay, Cole, and Zane are kidnapping Nia, Kai goes to talk to his past self, because his past self is phoning it in training to be a ninja, since he has no motivation to want to become a ninja now. I know this scene is pretty dumb, but I also love it so much and I always die laughing watching it. While this is going on, Cole, Jay, and Zane's past selves spot them, and they end up fighting, which is admittedly a pretty cool scene. Anyway, they end up getting away and successfully bringing Nia to the skeletons and Garmadon to get the timeline back on track. Things falling back into place also means that Lloyd is starting to reappear in the photo again in the present. Which, once again, they already changed so much, how can everything be going back to normal with one small change? Doesn't make sense. So, good old Garmadon goes to visit his past self, and tell me why Garmadon's past self reminds me of freaking Mongo from Shrek 2. I don't know why, they just seem so similar to me. I was also laughing really hard when Garmadon is whispering to his past self. They just look so goofy, like they're schoolgirls gossiping. Back in the present, Sensei sees that the city is getting covered in smoke, which I guess means Garmadon is taking over the city in the present due to him changing the past. And guess what this man says?
Great Scott!
Dude says "Great Scott" like he's some sort of 1930s guy. Why? Why does he say that? Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it just seems so out of character for him to say Great Scott. This line always throws me off when I watch this episode, and this just ranks as one of the strangest dialogue choices in Ninjago for me. Anyway, back to the time travel stuff. Past Kai goes to save Nia just like what happened in the pilots, but present Garmadon appears to help shadow Garmadon in the fight this time. Present Kai jumps into the battle as well to help his past self, so all that change anything, change everything stuff is completely thrown out the window. And then all the other present ninja join in, and at this point I'm just facepalming. Like, why put so much emphasis on that line if it wasn't going to have any significant impact? I guess you could say the significant impact is that the mega weapon ends up never having existed in the present, but considering the quality of schemes are ranking due to the mega weapon, I wouldn't consider that a big loss. Zane tells the others that if they destroy the mega weapon, it will erase anything they changed and put it all back to normal. But what evidence does he have for that? Anyway, they decide to do that and use the golden weapons in the past to destroy the mega weapon by sending it to space, of all places. This ends up becoming a problem later, but we'll ignore that for now. So by destroying the mega weapon, they somehow all get returned back to the present. So, how did they return to the present if the time travel portal was created by the mega weapon? That means the mega weapon didn't create time travel, right? So what did the mega weapon create? How, there was no portal for them to return back to the present. How did they return? I could go in a loop all day. When they do return to the present, the ninja are worried that they didn't set things right, but then Lloyd walks into the room and they realize everything has gone back to normal. Except for one thing. This last scene has so much retconning that it actually hurts my brain. Lloyd doesn't know a thing about the mega weapon when the ninja bring it up, which makes zero sense because the only reason he was aged up was because of Garmadon scheming with the mega weapon. So what does bro think happened? The ninja all laugh like this is just one funny joke, but I want to know what Lloyd thinks happened. Did they ever tell him that about the mega weapon, that it did exist? I want to know. I need to know. It's a necessity. Anyway, I think this whole episode can be summed up with one word. Huh? It's so messy and retcons so many things, but as for the scheme, I do think out of all of them, it falls right in the middle. Messing with time travel is a pretty cool idea for Garmadon to have, destroying the ninja before they even truly form. He almost gets away with it too, on several occasions. I think he would have gotten away with it if the portal had freaking closed after he walked through it. But anyway, it was smart, but also not that smart, because time travel is just a confusing thing in any form of media, and for sure it was not well thought through in Ninjago, which ultimately just causes Garmadon's scheme to be both clever and also a freaking mess. But let's move on to the next scheme, because all this time travel talk is giving me a headache. In my opinion, the second best Garmadon mega weapon scheme occurs in the episode Double Trouble. This is the first scheme Garmadon devises after the pirate scheme, and now that Garmadon knows how the mega weapon works, he decides to use the mega weapon to create evil clones of the ninja so that they can be equally matched instead of having the Serpentine fight them, I guess. The way Garmadon thinks of this plan is kind of cheesy to me. He sees his reflection in the mega weapon and is like, light bulb. The scene before he thinks of the plan is really funny, with Garmadon telling the Serpentine to brainstorm ideas on how to use the mega weapon. Anyway, Garmadon tells the Serpentine to find any ninja belongings still on the Destiny's Bounty and bring them to him. Somehow, having their stuff means he can make clones of them? The Serpentine find the ninjas' gis all laid out neatly on their bunks for some reason. Also, since when do the ninja have duplicates of their gis? Anyway, Garmadon says that the evil clones will be equal to the ninja but loyal to him, and he uses the mega weapon to make them. Garmadon instructs the evil ninja clones to go destroy the ninja, and off they go. Meanwhile, Lloyd has been invited to his old school, Darkly's, to encourage his former classmates to embrace the light like he has. The ninja go along with Lloyd to the school, and while they're there, Lloyd's old classmates lock the ninja in a room with the teachers and tie up Lloyd, trying to convince him to turn back to villainy. While this is happening, the evil ninja clones are walking around Ninjago City being straight up menaces. They head to the dojo to find the ninja, but only Sensei is there. Sensei realizes they aren't the real ninja, but lowkey takes him a little while to notice. He doesn't notice that they're suddenly deathly pale. There's a weird moment in this scene where the evil clones just watch as Wu kicks evil Jay, and it takes me out. The evil clones fight Wu and end up taking Jay's phone when they see that Nia left a message for Jay. Also, why did Jay not take his phone with him? Anyway, evil Jay meets up with Nia in order to find out where the ninja are, and she somehow doesn't notice at all that Jay is deathly pale. After getting the information from Nia about where the ninja are, to distract her, evil Jay kisses her, which is crazy. He then straight up just takes the keys to the ultrasonic radar, and then he and the other clones drive to Darkly's. Garmadon makes an appearance, checking in on the clones like a teacher for some reason, and makes sure they remember his scheme. They are to destroy the ninja. Like, that's so hard to remember. When the evil clones arrive at Darkly's, the students think they are the real ninja, and that they escaped from their trap, so they try to stop them, failing miserably. The evil clones capture Brad, ordering him to tell them where the real ninja are. Brad brings them to where the students left them, but the ninja aren't there. They and the teachers did manage to escape, and they come out into the hall, coming face to face with the evil ninja clones. The ninjas start to fight their evil clones, and they discover that they are equally matched in every way, meaning that all of their moves are perfectly matched, and they can't land a blow. The ninja are not sure how they can defeat them. I feel like Garmadon's plan should have been to create an opponent for the ninja that was more powerful than them, but I guess equal to them is the second best option. Anyway, while they're fighting, Lloyd tries to convince the Darkly students to help the ninja. He tells them all that they don't have to be evil, and he knows that there's a little good in all of them. I like this a lot about the scheme in this episode, that it leads to some character development for Lloyd. We get to learn more about how he's grown since becoming the Green Ninja, and we also get to learn more about his past at Darkly's and who he used to be, which is really nice, because I don't think we would have gotten more information on his past and his past at Darkly's especially, if not for this episode. Lloyd's speech gets through to his former classmates and they agree to help. Their plan is to make their own ninja costumes to confuse the clones, which is a cute idea, but also pretty dumb if you think about it. Their legs are so short, how do they get confused about who the real ninja are? Like, it's not hard to tell them apart. Also, the real ninja get confused too, like what? Anyway, because they're able to distract the evil clones, Lloyd is able to tell the ninja that Kid Gene's plan on how to defeat the evil ninja. So yeah, Garmadon's scheme was still able to be foiled by Kid. Granted, he is a genius, but yeah, still not a good look for him. Lloyd tells them that if they can land one punch, they should be able to defeat the evil clones. Anyway, each ninja is able to land a punch and or kick on their clone, and their clones disappear into dust. Honestly, seems pretty lame if one hit is all it takes to defeat them. But the ninja probably wouldn't have figured that out unless the kids helped them, so the evil clones did get pretty far in completing Garmadon's plan. Like I mentioned, this scheme also brings some nice character development for Lloyd, so I think it deserves a number 2 spot in the ranking. Also because it was a pretty funny and entertaining scheme. I can't in good conscience put the time travel scheme above it because it is just so confusing. So I'm happy with this scheme in second place. In the last scene, the ninja are heading back home, taking their ultrasonic radar back. Garmadon calls them on the ultrasonic radar, which is funny to me because does Garmadon have their phone number? Do they have his? It's just so funny to me to think of him calling them up just to threaten them. Garmadon tells them he will find new ways to finish them, which sure, my guy, hasn't gone that well so far for ya. But okay, I believe ya. Lloyd cuts off the call though, showing that even though he is good now, he's still a little menace. Okay, so we've come to the best Garmadon mega weapon scheme, in my opinion. This scheme takes place in the episode Child's Play, which honestly may be one of my favorite episodes of Ninjago. The opening scene of the episode shows some kids playing soccer and Lloyd looking down at them from the Destiny's Bounty, and oh, the scene just makes me so emo. Everything about Lloyd's childhood and having to grow up so fast makes me so emo. Anyway, the ninja tell Lloyd he needs to focus on his training, and I really like how they emphasize Lloyd's age in this episode. I feel like most shows with young protagonists wouldn't really put this much emphasis on their age, and I really like that. They really let the audience know that this is not a normal thing for a kid this young to be training to save the world. Not only that, but to have to fight his father in order to do it. They never confirm Lloyd's age, but I've always pictured him in the age range of 8 to 10 years old at this time. Usually I lean more towards 10 years old. As the ninja are training Lloyd, it's obvious his mind is elsewhere, and he ends up telling the ninja that he's distracted because there's a new comic he really wants to get from a store in Ninjago City. But the ninja tell him that it's not important. And it's just quite sad to see Lloyd so desperate for some childlike fun in his life and just not getting the chance to do these fun things he wants to do. Their training is then cut short when Nia lets them know that Garmadon and the Serpentine were spotted at the Ninjago City Museum. This is a scene where Jay calls Garmadon's schemes diabolical plots, which made me laugh, because not really, man, they haven't been that diabolical. Not even that bad yet. When the ninja leave to stop Garmadon, Nia says this really out of nowhere serious line.
We'll be waiting for your safe return.
Why did she have to be so serious in this scene? It's such a weird temporary tone shift that seems so out of place. When they get to the museum, they overhear Garmadon's scheme. Garmadon is planning to use a megaweapon to age the Grundle skeleton in the museum back into a living creature. The Grundle is revealed to be an ancient monster known for hunting down ninja. How can this monster detect ninja? It's not like being a ninja's genetic, but once again, I digress. I definitely think this is the most intense scheme that Garmadon has cooked up with the megaweapon. He creates something so dangerous and something known for destroying ninja, and it does get really close to actually doing it. Garmadon also knows that this creature will have no hesitation at all to kill the ninja, so he really isn't pulling any punches with this scheme. I guess he finally realized he's a villain, not a real estate mogul. Garmadon starts to use the megaweapon on the Grundle skeleton, and as he's doing this, the ninja interfere, knocking the megaweapon out of his hands. When Garmadon goes to pick up the megaweapon, he runs so slow, they could have stopped him. Anyway, Garmadon and the Serpentine retreat, but some of the Serpentine try to steal a sarcophagus. The ninja chase after them, but lose them after they drop the sarcophagus. At first, they think Garmadon didn't succeed at creating the Grundle, but all of a sudden they notice that they've become smaller. Since they interfered with Garmadon's plan, not only did the Grundle get aged back so it was alive again, but the ninja were aged back where it's now becoming children again. This scene is so freaking hilarious. I like the fact that Garmadon didn't even plan on making the ninja kids, but it just happened. It was just a lucky bonus for him. This scene does give us a line in the show that I absolutely despise from perhaps the whole entirety of the show, when Zane says, "Ninjroids don't dream." Huh? What do you mean? Have the writers forgotten the show? Zane having vision-like dreams has been a huge part of his character, and then they just whip out this line like none of that stuff ever mattered because Zane is a robot. It annoys me so much. Also, there's one line where it sounds like Kid J is talking with Kid Kai's voice. Let me know in the comments if you guys hear it too.
Yeah, but ninjroids don't turn into kids! Explain that, genius! I told Nia we'd meet back at the bounty. I'm sure Sensei will know what to do!
So while the ninja are freaking out, the police arrive and think that they stole the sarcophagus from the museum, for some reason. Really, why would they think they would steal it? If they're that small, how do they think they picked that thing up? After this, we cut to a scene of Wu and Nia worrying about the ninja, as they haven't come back yet. And I was just giggling at Lloyd, reading comics, glancing over at Nia and Wu, but just not really caring about where the ninja are. He don't give a if. Back at the museum, the kid ninja apologized to the museum guy about stealing the sarcophagus even though they didn't do it, because they just want to get out of this mess. Because they're kids, the museum guy doesn't even care that much. While the ninja are apologizing, the museum guy reveals that the Grundle bones are gone, and the ninja horrifyingly realize that means Garmadon succeeded in bringing the Grundle back. The ninja try to tell the adults this, but they don't believe them, showing the ninja what Lloyd feels like as a young kid on the team. The police say that they're going to call their parents, and I guffawed at that rewatching this episode. Because if you think about it, well, first you got Zane's dead dad, Cole's dead mom, and his father that doesn't live in the city, then you got Jay's parents, who definitely don't live in the city, and finally you have Kai's dead parents. So, who are you gonna call, really? The ninja end up slipping away before they can call whoever they were gonna call, and find a payphone to call the bounty. Lloyd picks up since Sensei and Nia left to look for them, and the ninja tell him to meet them in the city with their weapons. Also, how does a kid walking through the city with 4 huge weapons not call any attention to him? Ninjago City is being a bit too flexible on crime in my opinion. Maybe that's why their city is always getting ransacked. When Lloyd meets them at Laffy's Pizza, there's this kid, wearing a beaver mask, and why is he wearing that? This kid always confuses me. Lloyd doesn't recognize the ninja at first, but when he realizes that they're kids, he low-key laughs at them, and it's such a hilarious scene. Also, there's a 13 on Zane's shirt for no particular reason. Is Zane a Swiftie? The ninja have no clue what to do, but Lloyd says he has an idea. He takes them to the comic book store and introduces them to Mother Doomsday, an employee and comic fanatic. I guess Ninjago comic writers took inspiration from real creatures because Mother Doomsday knows a lot about the Grundle. Also another line I absolutely loathe.
Well, if it isn't Lord Hemroid Garmadon.
Why? Why? Just... why? I think I need to make a ranking of the lines I despise the most in Ninjago, because I'm realizing making this video there'd be a lot. Anyway, they find out from Mother Doomsday that the Grundle is nocturnal, and the ninja are slightly relieved because since it's still daytime, they still have some time to make a plan. Mother Doomsday also reveals to the ninja that the only way to defeat the Grundle is with light. He suggests using a weapon called the Illumisword, which is obviously a Star Wars reference. Anyway, the ninja try to take the Illumiswords, but Mother Doomsday doesn't believe they're really going to face off against a real Grundle, so he tells them the only way to get their hands on the weapons are to win the Fritz Donegan trivia contest the store is holding today. And this is where Lloyd gets the opportunity to use his kid knowledge of comics, which I love. Wu and Nia are back at the bounty and see that Lloyd has left a voicemail to let them know what's happening and where they are, and he ends the message saying this is not a prank, which makes me wonder if Lloyd has pulled phone pranks like this before, saying they were in danger. Like, why would he be lying about being in danger? Like, oh my gosh. Wu says he knows someone that may be able to help the ninja, so he and Nia head off to see Mistake. I really like that she is the only one who can help, and it makes me wish she was more present in the earlier seasons. She has so much cool potential as a character. Damn, I miss her. Weird detail, but when they show Wu and Nia arriving at her tea shop, they play the skeleton theme, I guess because when Wu went there in season 1, the skeleton were outside the store. Okay. It just makes me think the skeleton are gonna be in this scene. Also, the location of the tea shop confuses me, because in season 8, it's obviously like deep in the city, so did Mistake relocate or something? Does she have more than one store? Oh, what's the story behind that? Cut back to the ninja, and we get to see Lloyd participating in the trivia contest, which is a really fun scene. It's nice to see Lloyd doing quote-unquote childish things and actually using his quote-unquote childish knowledge to help the ninja. I really like how the moment from the first scene comes full circle, as Lloyd doesn't know the answer to the last question because he wasn't able to get the newest Starfarer comic. It shows that in this moment when being a kid and leaning into these more youthful, fun things could have actually helped them, in this case, with their more serious, like, ninja stuff. Right after Lloyd loses, however, the Grundle finds him. Mother Doomsday, seeing that the ninja weren't lying, obviously allows them to use the Illumiswords despite Lloyd losing. The ninja try to fight the Grundle, but the Illumiswords aren't strong enough, and the Grundle corners them in the store, including Lloyd. Garmadon definitely didn't take into account that Lloyd might be with the ninja when the Grundle found them, so that could have ended really horribly. I wonder what he would have done if Lloyd had freaking died here. Lloyd tries to use his power against the Grundle, but it still isn't strong enough. He's still learning, training. That's the whole point of the season, right? That's when Wu and Nia show up and throw the magical tea Mistake gave them to the ninja.
It'll turn forward the hands of time, turning you old and reducing the Grundle back to dust and bones.
Hands of time mention. Wu explains that Mistake gave them tomorrow's tea, and when opened, the tea will age them all up, including the Grundle, reducing it back to bones. Also, there's a lot of talking in a scene where there's a bloodthirsty monster right in front of them. Like, why is this thing not just eating them while they're yapping? Anyway, the ninja realize that using the tea also means that Lloyd will be aged up, and are hesitant to do it.
You'll miss out on the rest of your childhood, dude! We can't do that to you!
I wish Lloyd had said something like, what childhood here? Because, man, he was homeless, alone, had zero friends or family with him.
Whoa! I hardly have any friends too!
And then he finally finds his family, and then he's told that he's the only one who could save the world by defeating his father. Like, really, what childhood does this boy actually have? And what childhood was he going to have? They wouldn't even let him go to the comic book store to get a comic. Despite the ninja's hesitation, the tea ends up in Lloyd's hands, and he makes the final call, quoting his comic hero, Fritz Donegan.
Fair? Fair isn't a word from where I come from.
He uses the tomorrow's tea, and everyone is shocked. When Lloyd uses the tea, the Grundle ages back into bones, and the ninja return to their real ages. And Lloyd is now the ninja's age as well. I love that this mega weapon scheme allows for such an important status quo change in the show, and such an important plot point that is having ramifications in the show to this day. Like, this episode is goofy, but it isn't just goofy, it actually has, like, important lore stuff in it. We get some great character development for Lloyd in this episode, with him realizing he needs to take responsibility for things, even if it's not fair, and it's all thanks to his good old dad and his little scheme. It's obviously a bittersweet moment that Lloyd is older now, and the episode ends with Lou talking about how childhood prepares us for our greatest challenges, alluding to Lloyd having to fight his father in the final battle very soon, which is sweet, but I just now thought of this. If your childhood is the greatest preparation, shouldn't he have had his whole childhood be able to play out? Whatever. I like the speech overall, and the comic cover at the end is cool. It's a nice closing to the episode. Anyway, this scheme is the best to me because the Grundle got really close to destroying the ninja, and not even the idea of using light to defeat it worked. They were only able to defeat it due to Mistake, and Garmadon wouldn't have considered that, because he doesn't know the ninja were aged down as well, so he probably thought light was the only thing that could work, if he even knew that light could defeat it. Like, we don't know that he knew that. This scheme also allows for the most interesting character work of these 5 episodes, and in my opinion, it provides the most unique and fun plot out of all of them, so I think that it deserves the #1 spot on this ranking. Okay, so that was my ranking of every scheme Garmadon pulled using the Mega Weapon. These episodes are mostly very silly, and the Mega Weapon was hyped up to be something that definitely wasn't used to its full potential, just like our good old friends, the Forbidden Five. I did have a lot of fun rewatching these episodes, however, as I'm sure you can tell by the ridiculous things I pointed out throughout this video. Here's the ranking of the schemes one more time. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know in the comments how you would rank these schemes. Make sure to subscribe for more and leave a like on this video.